Welcome back. There's a nonprofit supporting children and their families going through cancer treatments, bone marrow transplants, and more. We've got Melissa Whitlinger, the coordinator of the GR Pediatric Oncology Resource Team, or PORT, and Thomas Sikkema, who was actually once supported by PORT as a kid and is now a board member. Thank you both so much for being with us live this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, really glad to have you. This is such a fantastic nonprofit, what it is that you all do. But for people who are not familiar, tell us all about PORT.
So the Pediatric Oncology Resource Team was started over 30 years ago by parents whose children were battling cancer here in West Michigan at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. They came together and they raised some funds and they made a care bag and gave that to the first family that they met who was traveling the same journey they had once been on. Inside that care bag were some essential items to help them along the way. There's an organizing binder, gift cards, meal passes to the cafeteria, and some personal care products for those parents who didn't expect to be spending a week in the hospital when they came through the emergency department.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always say it's the little things, right? I would say that applies to that care package for sure. You maybe wouldn't understand unless you've been in that situation. Thomas, we mentioned that you have actually been supported by PORT as a kid. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So on May 14 of 2013, I was diagnosed with a rare type of pediatric brain cancer called CNS germinoma. And, as Melissa said, it doesn't always happen where you know that you're going to be admitted to the hospital and you're going to start that journey. And my story was no different.
Where you arrive to the hospital and think, okay, I'll be home tonight.
Yep, I started my day off in my junior chemistry class at Hudsonville and ended up having some appointments where doctors evaluated me and determined that, hey, I need to go get checked out. So I went from chemistry class at 10 a.m. to being diagnosed with cancer at 7 p.m.
Wow, and how long was your hospital stay after that diagnosis?
Yeah, I was there about a week. And then after, kind of the initial treatment plan was developed, I went into getting a brain surgery later on in June, followed by 4 weeks of inpatient chemotherapy treatments, and then 5 weeks of outpatient radiation.
Wow, and so how are you today? You look fantastic. I'm glad to see you here sitting, talking to us. How are you today?
I'm happy, healthy, and blessed.
Wow.
Get the opportunity to now work with Melissa on the PORT board. I've got a beautiful wife, 2 amazing children, so
that
life
is so
is great.
Fantastic, Thomas. And so you can relate to that care package, and what does it add to this very unexpected stay?
Yeah, and it's so much more than just a care package. Like even just Melissa's presence on the 9th floor is incredible. I also worked as a nurse on the 9th floor too.
Oh, wow.
So, we've worked together in multiple different ways now, and just being able to work alongside of them and, be able to see how they impact the kids and their families, aside from the care packages, aside from the candy in the jar.
Yeah.
But just be somebody there to support them, whether it's been a good day on the floor or a bad day.
So cool that you have been able to see this story full circle, now supporting those families. Tell us about the video that we were just seeing, Melissa. I mean, we saw, a room being decorated with a fun blanket, and I believe that care package being handed out. What were we seeing in that video?
So one of the very special services that PORT is able to provide is a dream room for any child going through bone marrow transplant at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. This room is a gift from their community. It's all paid for by donor dollars, and we have volunteers who shop for things for the room that suit the child's interests. I meet with the child and the family when we know that chemotherapy is not enough, that they're going to need a transplant. I get some ideas on what things bring them joy, and then we have our volunteers shop for those things, and they come in, decorate the room, so the day of admission, when that child's going to be in that room of isolation 30 to 90 days, they are surprised with this room, and it really does help take away some of the anxiety and some of the anxious feelings and brings joy to that child. And when they are done with treatment, they take everything home with them. So that was the 100th dream room that was decorated for a young lady over a year ago, and now I think we're up to 122 dream rooms that have been funded by the PORT program and by the generosity of our community.
Yeah, that is so incredible. I mean, when you look at that video, who wouldn't be happy to see their room looking like that? And Thomas, you talked about working with Melissa and seeing her there in the hospital, the comfort that she brings. I hear she has the nickname of Fairy Godmother because of the work that she does.
Absolutely. Yep. You make things happen and bring joy to people.
Well, children still be children. They're sick, but they still want to play. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just showing up with a special toy or making a wish come true or gifting something for a sibling or child who's having a birthday. We'll definitely celebrate that and have cupcakes and a special surprise for them and the family. Or maybe there's a parent who's having a tough day and I'm able to put together a care package, something to bring a little lift to that moment and ease the stress. We had a massage therapist come to our floor last week and do chair massages for the parents and caregivers on our unit.
A true fairy godmother for sure. Okay, people I know are watching this and they're like, how can I help? I want to help, make sure a child's room can be decorated in that way, or make sure you get even more care packages to these families or more massages. How can people help and be part of the fundraiser that's coming up next month?
That's a great question, Emily. So there's still time to buy tickets. Our fundraiser is on March 12 at 6 p.m. at the GOE Center here in Grand Rapids. $125 is the cost of a ticket, and most of those dollars will go toward these programs, directly helping families here in West Michigan battling pediatric cancer or blood disorder. So they can buy a ticket. If you can't make it to the event, you can donate directly to Port and specific programs like Project Dream Room. $100 can fund meal passes for a family for a week so that parents don't have to worry about buying food in the cafeteria. $25 can fund a gift card for a gas station for a family traveling to and from Grand Rapids for chemotherapy treatment at our outpatient clinic. $10 can fund our snack pantry and buy some extra snacks. We keep everybody's favorite things on hand because when kids are on chemo, they crave different foods. They might not want a full meal, but something salty or fruity, popular items.
I mean, again, it's those little things because many people don't know what this experience is like, right? And you're going through this traumatic experience as a family. You might not be thinking about gas or how you're going to get that next meal. And so they may sound like little things, but I know they make all the difference. I want to thank you all again for being here this morning. We're going to be sure to have that information on our website so that you can support this amazing cause. Thanks again.
Thank you
for having us.
Absolutely. We're back right after this.